Since its formation more than 4.5 billion years ago, the Earth has undergone immense changes that have shaped its features and influenced the life upon it. But will the Earth remain as we know it forever? After millions of years, our planet may face major challenges, ranging from severe climatic changes to massive geological transformations, all the way to the effects of outer space, such as the expansion of the Sun or asteroid collisions. In this video, we will explore the possible scenarios for the future of the Earth and what may happen to this planet that has harbored life for millions of years. So, stay with us until the end, and do not forget to support us by liking the video and subscribing to the channel so that you receive all that is new. Climate change is considered one of the greatest challenges facing planet Earth in the modern era, as it threatens the survival of ecosystems and the stability of human life. With the increasing emissions of greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide and methane, temperatures are rising at an unprecedented rate, leading to widespread changes that affect all aspects of life. One of the most prominent effects of climate change is the rise in the Earth's temperature. Human activity has led to an increase in the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which has caused the average global temperatures to rise. This increase results in the accelerated melting of polar ice, which contributes to the rising levels of seas and oceans. Coastal cities and low-lying areas have therefore become threatened with submersion during the coming decades, which could lead to the displacement of millions of people from their homes, causing massive humanitarian and economic crises. Furthermore, rising temperatures negatively affect ecosystems as they lead to the destruction of habitats of living organisms and increase the risk of extinction for many plant and animal species. Extreme weather phenomena have also become more frequent and more intense as a result of climate change. Hurricanes and destructive storms have become more recurring and more severe, leading to significant human and economic losses. Persistent drought in certain regions threatens agriculture and water supplies, while sudden floods result in the destruction of infrastructure and the displacement of populations. Climate change also affects natural resources, as the availability of fresh water becomes more difficult with the increase in drought waves and changes in rainfall patterns. Agriculture, in turn, is negatively affected, leading to decreased productivity and increased food insecurity in many regions. Despite the major challenges imposed by climate change, there are global efforts to reduce its effects and adapt to it. Adopting renewable energy sources, such as solar and wind energy, can reduce reliance on fossil fuels and thus limit greenhouse gas emissions. Promoting afforestation and preserving forests help absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, thereby slowing the pace of global warming. Additionally, strengthening environmental policies and international cooperation can play a key role in reducing the negative impacts of climate change. The future of the Earth depends on the decisions that humanity makes today. If decisive actions are not taken to reduce emissions and adapt to climatic changes, the planet may become an unstable environment for humanity and for all living organisms. The Sun, the star that provides Earth with life, is not a static entity. Rather, it goes through evolutionary stages that will inevitably affect our planet in the future. Despite its current stability, it will not remain as it is forever. One day, it will transform into a red giant star, which will mark a major turning point in the fate of the Earth. But when will that happen? And what will this transformation mean for our planet? At present, and according to astronomers, the Sun is approximately in the middle of its lifespan. It is about 4.6 billion years old, and it is expected to continue in its current state as a main sequence star for approximately another 5 billion years. During this period, the Sun will continue to fuse hydrogen in its core and convert it into helium through the process of nuclear fusion, which is the process that supplies it with the energy necessary to maintain its stability. However, over time, the hydrogen supply will begin to be depleted, which will lead to radical changes in its internal structure. When the hydrogen in the Sun's core is exhausted, it will begin to expand, as its outer layers will swell significantly, transforming it into a red giant star. During this stage, the size of the Sun will increase enormously, reaching multiples of its current size, and it may engulf the inner planets of the solar system, including Mercury and Venus, and possibly even the Earth. As the Sun expands, its surface temperature will decrease, causing it to glow with a reddish-orange color. The impact of the Sun's transformation into a red giant on the Earth will be catastrophic. Even before the Sun reaches this stage, it will begin to emit more thermal radiation, which will lead to the evaporation of the oceans and the destruction of the atmosphere, making life on Earth impossible. As the Sun continues to expand, the Earth may drift into a more distant orbit due to the Sun losing part of its mass, but this will not be sufficient to save it from destruction. After several million years in the red giant stage, the Sun will enter the final phase of its evolution. It will shed its outer layers to form a planetary nebula, while its core will collapse to become a white dwarf, which is a small, dense star that no longer produces energy from nuclear fusion. At this stage, the Sun will be merely a faint remnant of its former glory, and it will no longer be capable of supporting any form of life on Earth, if the Earth still exists at that time. Asteroids have always been a part of the solar system, moving in their orbits around the Sun. However, at times, one of them approaches the Earth in a dangerous manner, raising questions about the possibility of a catastrophe that could threaten life on the planet. Could an asteroid collision with the Earth bring about the end of life as we know it? History bears witness that asteroid impacts on Earth are not merely a theoretical possibility. Rather, they are events that have already occurred in the past. One of the most famous of these impacts took place approximately 66 million years ago, when a massive asteroid struck the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, causing the extinction of the dinosaurs and most forms of life on Earth at that time. The force of the impact was equivalent to billions of nuclear bombs, leading to enormous fires, devastating tsunami waves, and a gigantic cloud of dust that blocked sunlight for years, causing the collapse of ecosystems. Today, scientists monitor thousands of near-Earth asteroids, which are known as Near-Earth Objects, NEOs, to ensure that none of them poses an imminent threat. Fortunately, most of the asteroids that approach Earth are too small to constitute a real danger. However, there are some large bodies that could be devastating if they were to collide with the planet. According to NASA, any asteroid with a diameter greater than 1 kilometer could lead to a global catastrophe, while smaller objects might cause destruction on a local or regional scale. In response to this potential threat, scientists are conducting intensive research on methods to defend the Earth from asteroid impacts. Among the proposed solutions is the kinetic impact technique, which relies on sending a spacecraft to collide with the asteroid and deflect it from its path. This idea was successfully tested through the DART mission carried out by NASA in 2022, which managed to alter the trajectory of a small asteroid. There are also other proposals, such as using gravitational influence to gradually change the asteroid's path, or even destroying it with nuclear weapons, although this option may be fraught with risks. Although the probability of a large asteroid colliding with the Earth in the near future is very small, astronomical studies continue in order to monitor any potential threats and ensure that humanity will be prepared for any emergency. As history has demonstrated, the impact of a massive asteroid could be sufficient to cause widespread destruction. However, thanks to scientific progress, we may one day be able to avoid such a catastrophe and save the Earth from a fate similar to that which befell the dinosaurs. Irreversible environmental degradation represents one of the most dangerous threats facing planet Earth, as ecosystems reach a critical tipping point beyond which the natural balance can no longer be restored, even with great efforts. At this stage, the damage becomes permanent, and the Earth begins to lose its ability to support life as we know it. One of the most prominent manifestations of this degradation is the disappearance of tropical rainforests. which are considered a vital source of oxygen and a habitat for immense biodiversity. Deforestation at an accelerated pace for the purposes of agriculture and urban expansion leads to the extinction of thousands of species and reduces the Earth's capacity to absorb carbon, thereby accelerating the pace of climate change. In the oceans, the accumulation of plastic waste and chemical pollution leads to the death of marine life and the destruction of coral reefs, which are sensitive ecosystems that play a crucial role in the planet's ecological balance. Some studies indicate that coral reefs may disappear entirely during the coming decades, which would affect millions of people who depend on the seas as a source of food and income. Likewise, desertification and the degradation of agricultural lands as a result of excessive exploitation and chronic drought threaten global food security. Lands that were once fertile become barren and unsuitable for cultivation, forcing populations to migrate and increasing conflicts over resources. What makes this degradation even more dangerous is that some of its effects do not appear immediately, but rather accumulate gradually until they become irreversible. Therefore, ignoring these environmental warnings may lead to a point of no return, where it will no longer be possible to save the Earth, even with the most advanced technologies. While the majority of discussions about environmental changes focus on tangible phenomena, such as rising temperatures or melting ice, there are other invisible environmental threats that may have an even greater impact in the long term. Among the most prominent of these threats are microbes, which include bacteria, viruses, and fungi, and which may pose a significant danger to life on planet Earth. Microbes are the smallest living organisms, invisible to the naked eye, yet they play a vital role in maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. However, these organisms may turn into serious threats when major environmental changes occur, such as climate change or water pollution. An increase in temperatures, for example, can lead to the spread of new types of bacteria and viruses that were not previously present in certain regions. Water pollution can also result in the growth of microbial strains that are resistant to antibiotics, creating enormous health challenges. Examples of this include viruses such as influenza viruses and coronaviruses, which evolve rapidly and may carry the ability to mutate into more lethal strains. Additionally, antibiotic-resistant bacteria have become a genuine global threat, meaning that diseases that were once treatable may become resistant to treatment in the future. Even fungi, such as those that cause environmental fungal infections or plant diseases, can lead to the loss of agricultural crops or the destruction of forests. Furthermore, as the pace of environmental changes accelerates, microbes may become more capable of adapting to changing conditions, which increases the complexity of confronting these risks. In the future, these microscopic organisms could be a major factor in causing invisible environmental disasters that significantly affect human life and ecosystems as a whole. Addressing these threats requires continuous research and global cooperation in order to understand how to manage microbial risks and adapt to them effectively. Human beings themselves may be the cause of the end of the Earth, whether through nuclear wars or through unforeseen technological developments. In the event of a comprehensive nuclear war, nuclear explosions could lead to the destruction of cities and the release of massive amounts of radiation, in addition to blocking sunlight, which could result in a global famine and the collapse of civilizations. Likewise, the development of artificial intelligence may pose a threat if it goes out of control, as some scientists fear scenarios in which intelligent robots could surpass humanity's ability to control them, potentially leading to the end of civilization as we know it. There is also the possibility that the Earth could be exposed to an unknown catastrophe that has not yet been discovered, such as a gamma-ray burst or a wandering black hole passing near the solar system. These phenomena, despite their rarity, could have devastating effects on the Earth's atmosphere, making life impossible within a very short period of time. Despite these troubling scenarios, human beings possess the ability to adapt and adjust to challenges. Research in space exploration and the search for habitable planets may be part of the solution to ensure the survival of the human species, even if planet Earth becomes unsuitable for life in the future. Although the end of the Earth is inevitable in the long term, the future of humanity remains open to many possibilities, some of which may be more optimistic than they appear today. In conclusion, the end of the Earth remains inevitable. Nevertheless, human beings still have the opportunity to understand these threats and confront them through scientific progress and space exploration. The future may be filled with challenges, but it also carries within it limitless possibilities that may allow humanity to survive and flourish, whether on Earth or in other worlds. Here we have reached the end of our discussion. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell, and see you in a new documentary.